Right, hello, Melissa May Dillon here, live on my personal page on Facebook, and then we generally upload it to the YouTube channel, which is probably the best place to catch a replay if you want to hear it again. And whether you are on YouTube or Facebook, if you have a comment that you'd like to share, I would love to hear it from you. If there's anything that resonates, anything that you're connecting with, or anything you want to talk about, I would love to be able to hear from you. And if you're on the YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe. And it is 2025, the year in which I am going live every single day this year. I will be going live on my Facebook. Some days are these epic, amazing, like downloaded, incredible lessons. Some days it's being goofy with David. Some days it's whatever, like who knows? It's just I am staying committed to doing something consistently every single day, going live, speaking more, sharing my knowledge, sharing my gifts, sharing my wisdom, sharing my voice, activating my voice. And I'm just all in to win. And yesterday, so I have a Magic Money membership, which is going to be developing into something else, which I'm super excited about. But there were two times where I went live and I was actually in that group when I intended to go live on my personal page. And both times I shared something like epic and awesome. And then I was like, oh, wait, like I didn't share that publicly. And I realized it's because it's meant for the people in that group. And so anyway, I did a lesson, like I did my live, and I was speaking about your power, like being in your power, and how it's better to not receive than not to receive your manifestation than to receive it and lose it because you're not in your power. And I talked about different ways of, how that plays out and all this different kind of amazing stuff. And so this is a lesson, this video right now is kind of piggying back off of that. But I know if you weren't in that group, you didn't get to witness it. So I just wanted to provide some context. But one of the things that, to give you a little bit of context, one of the things that I'm working on within this year and within my lifetime is to fully step into and own my power. I know that there are places in which I am not owning my power because, like David, for instance, he could say or do something that causes me to drop my power. Like I revert into like a defensive, little girl or something. And I'm like, nah, that's not staying in your power. And I'm being very intentional about making sure that I own my emotions. I own my reaction. I choose how I operate within the world. And I don't want any person, including my husband, to be able to just trigger me into a state of being that I don't particularly want to be in. I don't want to feel like a disempowered little girl, which can tend to happen within our relationship. And that's the most magical thing about relationships is they're here to show you all the things that you need to work on. And I absolutely love, David and how incredibly supportive and amazing he is to help me work through these things and be here with me despite the fact that I do have trauma and things that I'm working through, and I don't know how to be in a relationship perfectly. I don't know how to communicate. I didn't have the best examples growing up of how to be in a healthy I had zero examples of how to be in a healthy, successful relationship, as I was growing up. So anyway, I am in Melanie Ann Layer's program. So Melanie Ann Layer is a woman that I follow. I watch all of her stuff. She offers programs and different teachings and stuff. She was a woman who was homeless in her car in 2016, figured out how to fall in love with her life even when she was living in the front seat of her car. And then from there, she built a coaching business helping other people fall in love with their life. And now she has an $80 million brand, and she's going to be crossing 100 million this year. It's going to be super exciting. And she offers different programs and teachings throughout the year. And I've signed up to be a part of every single one of them through her Alpha Femme Experience program. And today was a welcome call for her Revolution Resolution. It's basically the beginning of the year, like set the tone for the year going forward. And she was talking about how to build your personal power and how we end up losing our personal power. And I'm like, yes, I immediately want to talk about this. One, I want to celebrate the fact that I've been doing what she said, and I've been doing it for a while now, especially since about 2017, which is awesome. Because one of the ways that we can build our personal power is recognizing what we've done and like loving it and appreciating it and then building on top of it. And one of the ways that we lose our power is this idea of like, forget everything I went through, I'm starting fresh. Like I used to have that vibe heading into a brand new year. I'd be like, screw last year, fresh slate, all new person. This year is going to be great. And then I would go through the year and then I'd end it and be like, screw that year, fresh new year, everything's great. That actually diminishes your personal power because you lose all of the things that you've done and you lose momentum on building on what you have done and what you have created. One way, so then that's how you lose your personal power, is denying what you've done, not recognizing it, not owning it, not accepting it, wanting it to disappear so that you can just be fresh and new. And owning your personal power is taking on and accepting and appreciating what you've done and what you've built upon. And so since 2017, I made a radical shift in my life in 2017. In 2017, I had, stemming from 2016 into 2017, I had one of the worst years medically. I had shingles in the middle of my back. I had chronic yeast infections. I had random patches of plaque psoriasis all over my body. I had chronic cortisol levels that were through the roof. I had to suck on cotton balls, so I had to carry my piss in a jug so I could test my cortisol levels. And I went to the Mayo Clinic and I said, something is clearly wrong within my body. You've got to figure out what this underlying disease is and give me a pill so I can clean it all up and get on with my merry life. And they said, you have high functioning anxiety and you need a meditation CD. And that was what they said, everything you have is related to stress. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, where's the pill to end the stress? That would be great. And they're like, it's life choices. You have to make different life choices. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, and then I just, 2017 was the year which all of that happened. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm working at my job that is barely pays me anything for the hours in which I am working. It's a very thankless job. I never really feel appreciated with what I'm doing. I was a school teacher in a charter school at the time. And I had dated a person towards the end of 2017 into the new, 2016 into 2017, thought that was going to be the most epic relationship of my life. And he ended up ghosting me like out of nowhere, completely unexpected. And that was very shocking to me. And then I had also adopted my eldest daughter, and she, in the midst of, she had a lot of chaos and trauma within her life, and she had attempted suicide in the span of, she has attempted suicide twice in the span of like 3 months. And all of this was coming to a head in 2017. So in 2017, I was like, something has to change. I am stuck and I am broke. I am stressed. Like, this is not the way that I wanted to live my life. This is not how I wanted things to be. This cannot be my life. And I did like a fresh start, in a sense of like, I am radicalizing everything. I am giving away everything. I would rather be broke and free rather than stuck and broke. I'm already broke, so I might as well have some freedom instead of feeling like I'm stuck. So I quit my teaching career with no other job lined up. I sold everything that I owned that didn't fit in my SUV other than my bed. I moved into my friend's living room, where there was nothing for privacy except a big old curtain that I could hang up. And I was in this just enough space to walk around my queen size bed. And then everything I owned fit under the queen size bed in tubs. So I kept my clothes in tubs, I kept my shoes in tubs, and I would just pull the tubs out from under the bed to grab what I needed that day. And I was like, and I'm done. And then as soon as the school year was over, because I did finish out the school year, I didn't just abandon my kids in the middle of the school year, I loaded everything I owned other than my bed into my SUV and drove up to Michigan to hang out with my grandma. And I just lived like a teenager that summer. And I had no job lined up. I was like, whatever. And that was the year where I was like, things must be different. Radical changes require radical changes. And I made so many radical changes in 2017. And while it was the worst year, it also ended up being one of the best years, because it's when I decided that I'm going to I will not live this stressful, broke, awful life anymore. I am going to have a different life, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. And so at the end of 2017, I got set up with a job that eventually would birth the insurance exam queen. So as you guys know, in 2020, I started my insurance exam queen business, which quickly became a 6-figure business that year. I've since have then made $2 million of building my business. And so since 2017, I have taken what I have done and I have built upon it and built upon it and built upon it. And I cherish what I have built. And there has not been a time between 2017 till now And I don't forever see it happening again, where I was like, this sucks, I'm throwing it all away, this is trash, because that actually eliminates your power. So I was very proud of myself that Melanie had talked about the way that you keep your power is by building upon the next year, building the next year. She's like, my life is so amazing because I stack year after year. So many people try to erase what happened, or they don't want to own what happened, and they just throw it away. And so one of the examples that she actually gave was like, we don't honor what we've been through if it didn't last, or, specifically relationships. So like a lot of people, for instance, they don't want to talk about a relationship that they have unless they know it's permanent. And then if you lose a relationship, it's like you've lost everything that you gained in that relationship, who you grew to be, who you developed to be. And that was actually very significant for me, because in 2020, I met my second husband and we got married. And our relationship obviously did not last, by the fact that I said second husband there. He's now an ex-husband. But I very, very intentionally chose to leave that relationship. Well, I mean, technically he left, but like I left, I let it go, and I intentionally was like, I am going to be so grateful for this relationship. I'm going to be grateful for everything that I learned. I'm going to be grateful for who I got to become, because there were some amazing, incredible things that happened during the time that we were married. One of those things was I became more authentically expressive in how I want to present myself in the world. I stopped caring about what other people think about me. I started wearing my big gold blingy jewelry. I put my hair in a mullet mohawk with pink and yellow or blue or whatever colors I wanted. I started wearing gold bling everywhere because that's just what I wanted to do. That's how I wanted to express myself. And I didn't care about anyone else's opinion of me. Another magical thing that happened in that relationship was I committed and went to therapy for the first time in my life on a consistent basis. I had dabbled in like other stuff before, but not, I am going to therapy every single week. And until I didn't quit therapy, and I'm still actually in therapy, but I was like, we're going every single week, and like, I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna go. And eventually my therapist said, you've kind of graduated out of therapy here. There's nothing else clinically that we can do based on all the things that you've got going on. And he has remained my coach in that since then, though, because I am so, like, the transformations that happened for me through therapy are so incredible. I'm like, I don't want to let that go. So I still communicate with him as as a coach in my life. So that's another amazing thing that happened in that relationship. Another incredible thing that happened in that relationship was I birthed the insurance exam queen. And he was very pivotal in it. We're coming up on the anniversary here. It's going to be 6 days, the anniversary of the insurance exam queen. And it, I'm feeling a big wave of emotion just hit me right now, thinking about everything that the insurance exam queen has done for me and has given to me. Thank you, yes. Thank you, yes. Having that business has changed my life, and I know it's changed the lives of other people. And I remember, like, I was so, like, at this point, it was like, it was all or nothing. Like, I had already given up my job. There was no going back. It was like, you become the insurance exam queen or nothing. Like, this is it. This is all it. And I remember, like, struggling. Like, I was like, I have to make the perfect video. I have to make a PowerPoint. I have to go in order. I have to do all these certain things in this certain way in order to get this right. And he looked at me. He goes, just teach. He's like, that's what you're good at. Just teach. And I was like, okay. So I literally just whipped out my camera. I got a whiteboard and I started talking. The very first video I did was risk. Like, how funny is that? I was risking everything to start my business. I risked my consistent paycheck. I risked the best job I had ever had in all my life, the highest income I ever had from a job, the fact that I had unlimited PTO, the fact that I could just literally do nothing, answer a few emails here and there. Like, my job had gotten to the point where it wasn't required that I really did anything. I had given them my skills of teaching. I had given them videos. I had done stuff, and I didn't have to be anywhere. It was the easiest, simplest job, most highest paying job I had ever had, with unlimited PTO. And like, nobody called or bothered me throughout the day. And I gave it all up so I could start the insurance exam queen business. Like, risk, what a risk was that? And that was my very first YouTube video, was talking about risk. And he gave me that push that was like, just teach. Because I was so up in my head. I was like, it's got to be perfect. I've got to have a PowerPoint. I've got to talk about the very beginnings of the exam. I got to talk about this. I got to talk about that. I got to do this. And I was like all over the place. And he's like, just teach. And so that was another amazing thing that had come out of my relationship. And there's more things that have come out of that relationship, but I just feel gratitude. I feel grateful. And another big thing that came out of that was this idea of like, I don't have to tear down everything to honor what I have built. I built a lot through that relationship. I built my authentic expression of my identity. I built my healing journey going to therapy. I began to build my business within that relationship. And if I were to throw it all away, I would not be honoring that. And I would not compound the amazing effects of how that relationship impacted my life. I still, again, just feel so much gratitude for who I got to become during that relationship, what I got to build within that relationship. And I am so grateful. And that was one of the things that Melanie was talking about, is how you have a relationship and it doesn't last. And so you decide to throw everything away and start fresh and not honor who you become and what you built. And it actually eliminates your personal power. And this is why we don't feel as powerful, because we take an experience that we had, we learned something, we grew, and then we decide to throw it away because it wasn't permanent, it didn't last. You know, like, in relationships are supposed to last, otherwise we don't talk about them. Or a relationship ended, so therefore it's a failure. When a relationship doesn't have to be, just because it ends doesn't mean it failed. It means it came to an end. And it means that within that relationship, I had experiences, and I can either take the power of those experiences and honor them and continue to carry them within my life, or I can just throw it all away and deny that I had awesome experiences within that just because it ended, that failed, So I'm very, very happy and pleased with myself to hear that I have been, because I literally just talked about when I went live the other day, accidentally, privately in my group, instead of on my Facebook page, which is what I had intended to do. I had talked about how I want to be more in my power. I really want to step up and own my power. I want to be in charge of my emotions, in charge of my nervous system, in charge of my reactions to people, in charge of how, I operate. I don't want what some other person says to cause me to lose control of my thoughts and my emotions. I want to be in charge of them. And I that's the only thing I can control is how I feel, how I act, and what I do from that space. And so I really want to be more in my power. So, and I know I'm not saying I have not been in my power at all. I have definitely been developing and growing my power, especially it's been a requirement running a multi-million-dollar business. I have 60 plus subscribers on a YouTube channel. I've got 17,000 people in a Facebook group. I don't even know the number of employees I have. I've got employees. I've got teams. I've got people I've got to manage. I've got all kinds of things going on. I have a baby. I've got a husband. I've got a house. I got all these things. And I've had to step up into my power in whole new ways than I've ever have before. I know this, and I'm honoring this. I just know that I could be more in my power, and I want that. And I'm going for it, and I am owning it, and even going live every single day. There have been so many times where I've made a commitment to myself, like the other day that was another thing I did on that video, was I looked at David asked for a notebook. He wanted a notebook. I have a bunch of notebooks, but almost all of my notebooks have like 3 or 4 pages written in them before I put it back and grab another notebook. But I actually am committing this year. I have very specific notebooks for very specific purposes, and I'm going to use the entire notebook. I'm going to be very intentional about what I am doing. That's another big thing that I'm staying in my power this year, that I'm developing my power, is the power of intention. Being very intentional about what I do, how I go about my day, what it is that I'm doing, how I'm building my business, how I operate within my relationship. I'm being very intentional. So anyway, one of the notebooks that I had picked up for him, the first 3 pages were, welcome to 2023, Melissa. This is the year that you're going to write in a journal every single day. And I flipped through it and I stopped at January 3rd. That was it. I wrote for 3 days before I quit. And I had said this was the year you're going to write in a journal every single day. 3 days. That was it. So the fact that it is January 12th and I have gone live every single day for the last 12 days, and technically I have gone live all throughout the month of December as well. Starting from December 2nd, I have gone live on the internet every single day. Despite having a business, despite having a baby, I have made sure that I said I was going to do it, that I'm going to do it. And not every live has been this most incredible epiphany lesson or whatever. Some lives have just been, hey, I'm going live today because I said I was going live, so here I am, folks. But it has kept me, that I have made a commitment. And because I have made a commitment to you, to the internets, to the people, it's like, what, David? I feel like I just heard him come through an intercom. That was weird. We have a baby monitor. Oh, okay. They are coming through the monitor. Okay. David, I thought I had turned it off because we were going to have some fun time this morning and I didn't want it to be on. Somehow it got turned back on. I don't know. Anyway, he's speaking to me through the baby monitor. You threw me off. What was I talking about? So I have been very committed to staying intentional and being intentional and owning my power, stepping fully into my power, embracing my power, not being afraid of my power, and using my voice, speaking up. Going live has really amplified and changed the way in which I show up, on the internets. And, speaking, my voice has a whole knowledge and wisdom and the thing that it wants to tell me. So many times we will filter everything through our head before, when we think about something, instead of just speaking it, we think through it to make sure that it's the exact right thing before we share it. But it's like your voice has a knowledge on its own. Your voice wants to tell you something without filtering it through your head. And going live every single day has allowed me to hear myself, share knowledge and share wisdom with me that's not necessarily in my head. There are things that I say that were not already in my mind, right? Like it's coming from somewhere else. I'm channeling something else. I'm channeling expression. I'm channeling a consciousness. I'm channeling knowledge and wisdom, potentially just from my higher self, but potentially from even other sources. And being able to hear my own voice going live every single day has had an amazing impact on my life and what it is that I'm doing. And the fact, like, I feel immensely more powerful having gone live every single day, even when I didn't want to, even when it was hard, even when, I remember going, there was like my period, the lunar phase, I forget what phase of my period it's called, but there's a phase of my period where I get cranky and crabby and I'm like, don't touch me. I am so mad. And what I was learning is like, estrogen is the hormone that women have that make them want to take care of everyone, right? So we're like, women, we complain all the time. I'm doing all the house. I'm doing all the cooking. I'm doing all the cleaning. I'm raising all the children. I'm the default parent. But it's like estrogen is what drives us to do that. When we are beginning our period, estrogen drops. And so that's when we start to question, why am I doing everything? Why aren't other people helping? And so that's the week that I come into, because I'm like, I got a business, I got a house, I got a baby. I'm like, where's everybody else? What are y'all doing? Because I feel like I'm doing everything. That's not 100. If you're my employee, I didn't mean you. You guys are doing plenty and awesome and you're amazing. I mostly mean that to David. But I'm working through that. He does amazing, wonderful things for us in the family. It's just, our minds can lie to us. Our minds can paint a different picture for us than what is actually happening in reality, based on our trauma, based on different things, based on our experiences. And I'm gaining awareness of that. And I'm also being very intentional about making sure that, what I'm thinking and feeling is more in alignment with truth than just some shaded perspective that I have. But there was a week where I was like, I'm mad, but I'm here. I'm going live. I'm on my period. I'm crabby. I'm cranky. I'm fighting with David. But here I am. I'm live. So even though I didn't want to do it, I did it. I stayed committed to my word. I said I was going to go live every single day of December, and I did. And I think having done it in December gave me the oomph to do it for all of January. Because one of the things too that's very important to me, as I've said before, I want to have a massive brand. I want to be known all around the world. I want people to read my books. I want people to learn my lessons. I want to be the world's teacher. And it's like, how will I grow an audience if I'm not speaking to anybody? Right? Who will be the audience if I'm not there? You know, Melanie Ann Layer talked about it in her Impact Academy program. She's like, if you're, think of what you're doing as like a TV show, and if nothing's there, what is there to watch? Like there's got to be something for people to watch. There's got to be something that people are, whether it doesn't have to be a video, but it could be a post. Like you've got to have something that people can tune into. If you want to have an audience, you've got to have something that they're watching, and you got to be able to grow that audience. And so going live every single day, whether this grows my audience or just allows me to be in a better position to grow my audience, for me to, the way that I speak, the way that I share, as I go on throughout this year going live, I'm going to get better and better about how I'm speaking, how I'm sharing, what I'm saying, and I know it's going to develop me to be that person who has this massive audience, who is speaking on stages, who is, teaching the world, who is impacting people's lives in a positive way. Like every beginner has to start somewhere to be great. You have to begin as a beginner to be great. And if I desire to speak to people on stages, if I desire to have this positive impact through the power of my voice and through the power of sharing my stories, I got to start doing it. I can't wait for someone else to say, hey, Melissa, you're awesome and amazing. Why don't you come speak on my stage? I'm just going to start my own stage. It's right here. Boom. Stage set. I'm speaking. Right? So I'm taking the power of what it is that I want to do, and I'm doing it. I'm not waiting for anyone else to give me permission. I'm not waiting for anyone else to lay this foundation for me. I'm not waiting for anyone else to set the stage for me. I'm doing it. And that's another big thing that I've been doing to step up into my power. So we have the ability to grow our power, to fully own our power, or we have the ability to diminish it and shut it down and block it. I am intentionally choosing everything that I can that will allow me to stay in my power, grow my power, feel good about my power, and use my power in the most magical way to impact the planet, impact myself, my family, and the planet in the most positive way that I can. And I am turning away from and putting down anything that diminishes my power or takes away my power or doesn't allow me to compound my power, and honoring year after year of growth that I have had. And I can look, and even before 2017, I had some amazing things happen. I just know 2017 was the year I decided to take control. 2017 was a year where I said, enough is enough. I'm tired of working a job that I hate, that I'm not being paid very well for. I'm tired of my body having shingles down the middle of its back, plaque psoriasis all over my body, chronic yeast infections, cortisol levels through the roof. I'm done with all of that. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to give it all away so that I could just take full control of myself. And in 2017 was the beginning of this journey of building who I ended up becoming through the insurance. Like that got me to become the insurance exam queen. And then the insurance exam queen has got me to become who I am today. And I am honoring and cherishing that journey, and I am building upon what I have built, and I'm making it better, and I'm innovating upon what I have built, and I'm stacking my power, and I am growing my power, and I am being very intentional to continue to grow my power, to continue to grow my positive impact on the planet. That is my desire. That is my biggest desire, is that I have a positive impact on the planet, and that I can stir within people the same feelings that I had in 2017. If I'm done, I am done being stuck and broke. I would rather be free and broke, because then at least I am free. And from that space, I was able to then get to the point where I have made millions. I am no longer broke. Every single day, money pours in to my business. I just wrote down my numbers for today, $2,870 from my business. Yesterday. Today, it's done today. It probably ended somewhere around $2,600 today. Every single day, even Christmas Day, I made money. Every single day, starting from October of 2022, I have made money every single day. And the amounts of money that I make is usually what I used to make in a month. $2,600 used to be what I made in a month, and now I'm making it in a day. In a day. And that's one form of income. So if I can have any positive impact on the planet, I would really love it to be around the realm of money, so that people can understand that the story they've been told about money or what they've currently experienced about money does not have to be their reality. Everyone has the power to completely, radically change their relationship with money and their ability to receive larger sums of money. It's possible for everybody. Ask David, my husband. He didn't even have to start a business for him to receive much larger sums of money. He just, got with me and he received much larger sums of money. It doesn't require that you have a business for you to have larger sums of money. As long as you're willing to change your relationship with money and you're willing to look at it differently and you're willing to see what beliefs you're holding on to that are preventing you, because the only thing that's preventing you from having more money is you. Like, that's it. It's just you. And I'm even talking to myself right now. It's just you. It's just you. When you decide to take control of your thoughts and your feelings, when you decide to take ownership that I am the conscious creator of my reality, you realize that you're the one who has the power. And when you own that power, when you step into that power and you embrace that power, you can bring in more money into your world. It's there. It's sitting on the periphery. It's like waiting for you. It's waiting for you to show up into your power. It's waiting for you to stop emitting beliefs that money is bad. It's waiting for you to stop emitting beliefs that, like, the only way that I can get money is if I work hard. So then if it's like, then you have to keep working hard to get money, and then you have to keep working hard to get money, and then you have to keep working hard to get money. It was just like a year ago that I posted, the way I make the most money is just being mama. And on the days where I've just focused on my baby and I've relaxed and I've focused on my family are some of the biggest days of money that we make in the business, because that was a new belief that I decided to believe in. Because what you believe to be true becomes true, and you can change what you believe. You could change what you believe. And I just watched a video today that gives a very powerful thing that you can do to switch everything in your life. Start your morning every single day saying, today something wonderful is going to happen to me. Today something wonderful is going to happen to me. And then you go throughout your day with this positive expectation about something wonderful happen. And I bet more than one wonderful thing will happen. It will be like a cascade of wonderful things happening, because the universe, God, it just amplifies what we're putting out. So if we're putting out this energy, something wonderful is going to happen to me. It amplifies that, so that many wonderful things are happening to you. It won't just be one thing. It'll be all the things that are happening to you in such a wonderful way. And I know I'm going to start that. Something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Something wonderful is going to happen to me today. And if you start your day with that and you end your day with that, something wonderful is going to happen to me tomorrow. It'll just compound and compound and compound, and that is how you build your personal power. Another insight, one little more nugget I want to share about building your power that Melanie and Layer talked about was when you decide that something is going to happen before it happens, and then it happens, you get you're like, whoa, I knew it. She's like, it could even be a negative thing. Like she's like, like when you said, oh, I'm going to lose my keys, like an example, like, oh, I'm going to lose my keys. And then you lose your keys. Like, I knew it. That actually empowers you to be like, I knew, right? So you can actually, set forth, like, cause she's, for the resolution, one of the things she recommends that people do, and something that she does, is she writes a list of 111 things that she would like to happen in the next year. And whether they do happen or don't happen doesn't matter. But like she says, the fact that you're writing them down makes it a lot more realistic that they will happen. But she's like, when you write something down and then it happens, it's just so much better than if you had not said it was than just allowing it to happen. So I already started writing my 111 list. I found this amazing notebook, God, Goals, Growing and Glowing. And I think I've gotten up to like 26 things, 28, 40. I've gotten to 40 things. Hold $50,000 in cash. That was one of my things. I've held $30,000 in cash. And surprisingly, it was so small. It was like this. I'm like, what? Like, this is $30,000? I'm like, this is nuts. This is like barely anything. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, we think 30,000 is so huge. Like, it's a duffel bag to have 30. No, it was like this. I'm like, this is nuts. This is such a tiny amount. So I want to hold $50,000 in cash. That's number 40. So I'm going to continue writing this list. And the more that I learn from Melanie throughout the Revolution program, because she's going to talk more about the 111 list, I'm super excited. And this book is going to continue. This is one of my intentions, is that this notebook will contain my 111 list for every year. And I will use this notebook specifically and only for my 111 list. And so that, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I'll be able to go through and I'll be like, look at all these amazing things I said was going to happen and they happened. Look at all these crazy experiences I said I wanted and I got them. So this book is going to be my 111 list book, and I'm going to use it year after year after year, fill it up with my 111 list. And I will go through and I will cross out the things that happened. I'll make notes on the things that happened. It'll be super awesome and amazing. So I got this book at Walmart. It's so beautiful. There was a specific artist who made it, and there was a tag with her name on it, but I don't have it. So I don't know who it was, but it's specifically made by a person. It was like designed by them. So anyway, 111 list. What I would recommend to you to do is to say something that's going to happen, and then it happens, and then you feel more in your power. So decide something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Or Melanie talks about being in the God zone. Set the intention that you're going to have the most amazing cup of coffee in the morning. See yourself having an incredible cup of coffee. See yourself feeling the feeling. See yourself smelling your coffee. See yourself feeling so good that this is my life. This is what I get to live. This is what I wake up to. Live in that moment and then experience it, and whoa, you feel so much more powerful. Because when you say something is going to happen and then it happens, it amplifies your power. It makes you feel even all the more powerful. And so when we take intentional, conscious, creative control of that, it allows us to experience some incredible, amazing, awesome, fantastic things. And I'm getting very intentional about how I am consciously creating my life. I'm getting very intentional about how I live my life in general. And I'm super excited to see the impact of that as I go about my life through this year and the years to come. Tomorrow, one of the things that she assigned for homework for the Revolution program is doing a rift on how you want, what basically 2025 comes to a close. And it's now 2026. And you're saying, this is what happened in 2025. And then you say all the things that you're wanting to experience. You say all the things that you're wanting to go through. And I was like, okay, I could do that on video. But actually, I was feeling a little bit tired before I started this video. I don't feel tired anymore. I feel so energized. When I came on, I was like, this is going to be a quick live. I'm just going to come on. I'm just going to say something real quick. I'm just going to go live and go live. But I ended up doing a really powerful, impactful lesson today, which I'm super excited about. But anyway, so that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. So my live tomorrow, January 13th, is going to be how everything that I want to envision for the year 2025. And I'm going to riff on it. Because she said, do a voice note as yourself. But I'm like, actually, I do better when I'm on camera, when I'm on the internet. One of the things that I have found is that I am most authentic when I am speaking like this. This is who I am. This is like one of the most realest versions of me, which is really crazy because people may say, like we hide ourselves on the internet. We pretend to be something that we're not. For me, I show up almost most full when I am on the internet because it's just me looking at a camera. And I know that I'm speaking to other people, but like when I am physically in the presence of other people, I act different according to who's around me. And I'm not saying that's wrong or that's bad, but I know that there are ways in which I diminish myself, especially when I'm physically around people. And when I'm on the internet, I don't. There's hardly any, I don't really hold anything back here. I am most expressive. I share so much of my power from my voice when I am speaking here on the internet, on live. And so I plan to do my rift on 2025. So again, the idea is it's the end of 2025 and I'm saying everything that happened. And it's like the rift is me recapping what I've experienced in 2025. So I'm basically going to be writing my future tomorrow. That's what I'm going to do when I go live tomorrow, is writing the future of what I want to see. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to myself over and over again. I'm the author and the creator of my life. There's so many things I've written down on Facebook, and then I come back in my histories. I'm like, that happened, that happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. These are all the things I said was gonna happen, and they've happened. And so I'm going to speak it. I'm going to speak it. I'm going to share it tomorrow, and I will encourage you to do the same thing. One of the biggest things Melanie talks about is living your life in hindsight, or with the idea that when you're in your future self, when you're a old wrinkly gray lady and you're thinking about how wonderful your life was, live your life now with that as your intention. It is my intention that when I'm an old wrinkly lady, I already have my gray hair. When I'm wrinkly, when my skin is like leather and it's all wrinkly, I want to look back and say, God, I'm so happy and amazing about the life that I lived. I'm so grateful for the Melissa that showed up every single day. I'm so grateful for that girl who went live on video, who talked about stepping into her power and owning her power. I'm so grateful for the choices that she did. I'm so grateful that she took the intentions that she took. I'm so grateful that she started writing her 111 list. I'm so glad that she went to Melanie's classes. I'm so glad she did all this. Like, I live my life with the vision that I will be old and wrinkly and so madly in love with what I've done in my life. And unbeknownst to me, before really thinking about that, I made a meditation that actually set that up. And I would encourage anyone to listen to it. It's on at Melissa May Dillon on my YouTube channel, May, M-A-E. And it's called Jumping to Your Highest Timeline. It's one of the best meditations I've ever heard. And honestly, it should be called, I'm calling them awakenings from here on out, because it's awakening the conscious creator within you. It's awakening your future self. It's awakening your higher self to be more in your current reality. And so, yeah. And I'm going to be doing something really, really epic in my Magic Money group. And right now, the link is in the comments. Right now, it's $97 a month, but it's going to change. And what we do in that group is going to change in the most epic way. I've already shared with the group what we're going to be doing. They're already very excited. So if you want to get in, get in. It's going to be one of the last few opportunities to get in at the $97 a month. And that will be what I try to stress with people is, like, if you enjoy me and you enjoy what I've got to say and you want to learn from me, right now is the cheapest time. The amount of money you're going to have to pay to access what it is I have to say, to access my wisdom, to access my energy is going to go up and up and up and up. And the fact that it's 97 right now, and if you lock that in, that's what it stays for you forever. There are people in that group who paid 33 and they will only ever pay 33. The new people coming in will pay 97. And then they'll always pay 97. And then the people who come in after that are going to pay 297. And then the people after that are going to pay something even higher. And it's just going to keep going up, and it's going to be the most magical place on the internet for me. Like, I'm going to create that space as the most magical, amazing place on the internet. And I am sharing it with you now. It's at the cheapest price it's ever going to be again. And it will only go up from here. And what we do in there is only going to be even more magical than what we've already done. There's already amazing stuff that you can go in there and listen to and interact with. And there's people in there who are ready to share with you their visions of making tons of money and their encouragement of making money and the lessons that they have gone through with making money and bringing it to them. Because again, that is one of the biggest things I want in this lifetime, is to impact the planet in a positive way, in specifically regards to people being able to make, bring, and receive more money than they have ever had in their lifetime. I make more money on a given day than the majority of people will make in a month. One day. I make $100,000 in a month. Some people don't even make that in a year. And it all began with the thoughts that I'm thinking and the feelings that I'm feeling and taking conscious control of that. And I teach that within my Magic Money membership group. So join it if you want to see a difference in your bank account, if you want to see a difference in your world, if you want to see a difference in being able to receive money, have more money, do whatever it is you want to do with money. So I love you all. I'm going to go have an amazing time. Oh, it's 444. I have 4 viewers, 4 comments, 4 reactions. That's amazing. And it was 4333 when I said that. That was amazing. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And I will see you tomorrow riffing on what I want 2025 to be, as if I'm going to tap into future Melissa. I'm going to tap into the Melissa of 2026. And I'm going to say, in the year of 2025, this is what happened. And I'm going to riff on that tomorrow. So I'm going to jump into my highest timeline tomorrow. I'm going to riff on what it is I want 2025 to be, as if it has already happened. And by holding that space and putting that out there, I'm bringing myself so much closer to making it a reality than not. If we don't speak and express our desires, how do we know what they are? How do we have them? We've got to be able to say them. We've got to be able to share them. We've got to be able to put them out there. So see you tomorrow, going live. I love you all. Have an amazing day. And yeah. Mwah.